MTD has been a huge topic in the accounting and bookkeeping world for some time now, but most of the focus is on how to keep clients compliant. There's much less focus on the potential impacts to practices' back offices and to their bottom lines. So we at Satago have brought a few friends together, a little bit like the AppVendors or the AppVendors, to look at 5 areas that growing MTD workloads might affect your practice and what you can do about it. Kicking things off is Jack from GoProposal to look at how to keep your fees in line with the work that you need to do.
A consistent fee review process is important for any business, but it's about to become absolutely essential for all accounting businesses when MTD kicks in and changes the game in terms of how frequently you have to do work for your clients, because your fees will have to change in line with that. But people think it's going to be really scary to have fee reviews, and establishing the process will be really painful within their business. So I want to show you 3 key things you can do to establish that process in a way that isn't so scary and isn't going to be so painful. The very first thing to do is establish the meeting rhythm. Get the clients on board to the change around meeting rhythms with fee reviews and explain why now. It's really important they understand why you're going to be having these fee reviews and how it helps their business and how it's going to help you service them in a better way. We recommend here at GoProposal the 1-3-12 method. So payroll every month, bookkeeping every quarter, and then everything else at the end of the year. That's a really solid place to start. Secondly, have a clear agenda that frames everything in the right way. So many people get this wrong because they go into fee reviews with fear, with the wrong intentions, and they make it all about why the fee's changing rather than about the business and rather than about their client. Talk about their challenges, talk about what they want to achieve. Establish all of that before you establish any fee changes, because you can make it about them and how this is going to help their business achieve what they want to achieve. So firstly, establish that meeting and communicate it with the clients. Secondly, systemize your pricing. It's important that you've got a centralized pricing structure that you can use for all your clients that accounts for the complexity of your services. Your clients are complicated and the services you offer are complex. So your pricing structure needs to address that. Make sure it's the same across all clients as well. Inconsistency across clients will make fee reviews really difficult to deliver, and that's often where the pain can come in. And finally, make it transparent. You need a way to communicate that complexity to the client that helps them understand why their fee's changing. So for example, a transaction-based pricing within bookkeeping. They'll understand transactions and how they can fluctuate and how more transaction means more work for you. So make sure you've got something where you can have the conversation with the client where they understand the fee and they understand anything that will make it change, because that'll avoid the majority of pushback you're likely to get. And then finally, don't do it all yourself. All these people I speak to who have 10, 20 members of staff, but they're the only people having conversations. If you're the only person having pricing conversations in your business, there's no way you can have a regular fee review process that's going to allow you to adapt to the changes that are coming. So make sure you train your team, you establish that pricing structure and you establish that meeting rhythm. Then you can make sure you turn this into an opportunity and not see it as a big scary risk for your business. At GoProposal, when we work with people establishing this, we tend to see a 20 to 40% uplift in their fees. There's so much untapped potential in their client base that we help them unlock. So you can see this as a big opportunity, something that's going to allow you to level up your business, hire that new member of staff by unlocking all that profit, and not seeing this as some big scary change that you want to avoid.
Some great tips there. Thanks so much, Jack. So once your fees are agreed, you want a fast, automated way to invoice the work that you've done. And that brings us to our next risk area, manual processing. Lots of firms still manage their billing process manually, but as the rate of work increases, so should the rate of sending out invoices. And if that's still a manual process for you, you're inviting loads more work and potential for human error. So here's Lizzie from Xero with some examples of how to automate your invoicing.
Hi, my name is Lizzie and I'm a partner consultant here at Xero working on our Energize series. Our Energize series is made up of lots of useful content for our accountants and bookkeepers, so be sure to check it out over on Xero.com. I wanted to highlight two areas with you today. The first one is our repeating invoices feature. So this is perfect for any regular invoices that you send out. To access these, I'm going to go into business, invoices, and then into our repeating tab. I'm then going to create a new repeating invoice. And along the top, I can select how often I want this transaction to repeat. So I want it to repeat every 1 month. I'm going to change the invoice date to the 1st of May. So I'm going to backdate it so I can invoice for the full month. I can enter in my due date, so I want it to be the 30th of the following month. I can use this drop down menu to change the due dates along the bottom here. I can enter in the end date as well if this is relevant. I can select here whether or not I want this invoice to be saved as draft each month, whether I want it to be approved or approved for sending. So I'm going to select that I want it to approve each month. I'm going to pop in my contact details here. So Mrs. Smith, this is a monthly rental invoice. So I'm going to pop in the address for the rent in this reference field here. So my contacts can see exactly what address this rent invoice is relevant to. I can enter in my invoice branding, the currency that I want the invoice to be raised in, and whether the amounts that I enter along the bottom here are tax inclusive or tax exclusive. I'm going to pop rent in my description, enter in the quantity and unit price, select my chart of account code that I want this invoice to be allocated to, and my tax rate, and then I'm ready to click save. So what we will now be able to see is that this repeating invoice has been created for us, and it is due to be repeated every 1 month. The other feature that I wanted to highlight with you today is our contact groups. So if I click into contacts, you can see that we have different groups down the bottom here. So this is perfect for whether or not you want to send individual invoices to multiple contacts at once. Firstly, I'm going to show you how easy it is to add a contact to a particular group. So I'm going to click into our customers. And then I'm going to select ABC Furniture and Bank West. And I'm going to select Add to Group, select Rent, and click Add. And we can see that these two contacts have now been added to that group. Now, if I wanted to raise an invoice to that group, I can select Business, click into Invoices. From the new invoice menu here, I can select Invoice to, click onto Rent, fill out my invoice details, and send that out to all contacts within that group. Thank you so much for watching.
Two brilliant ways to speed up invoicing there. Thanks so much, Lizzie. Now, invoicing is far from the only manual process that might be pressured as the frequency of work increases. Simple things like requesting records can be already really painful, so doing that 4 times as often is not going to be fun. Automating records requests is a key feature of Accountancy Manager, so here's Jonathan Stobart to tell you a little bit more.
AM's automated features enable users to save vast amounts of time by programming the sending of emails to clients. A classic example of how this works in practice is when users automate the process of chasing books and records from clients, something which is of course only going to get more significant once MTD takes effect. Once a client passes its year end, the system will start to automatically send them emails requesting clients submit their books and records. Should the client return some but not all of the required information, the system will then send a different email detailing the missing information. Emails can be paused and reviewed before they're sent, giving you extra assurance that everything that's going from your firm is correct.
Amazing, thanks so much, Jonathan. Now, even with a system like Accountancy Manager automating records requests, there will always be the odd things missing, and there's always that one client, isn't there? If you only have one, you're probably doing fairly well. And Dext Prepare can look out for missing records and flag them for you. Here's Christine Roberts to show you how.
We're currently looking at the client view within the dashboard section. Now this surfaces up a load of different information, but the two that we're going to focus on today, we scroll over to the right hand side, are what we call the missing paperwork and outstanding paperwork columns. Now, if we look at what these are for, you'll see the missing paperwork is the number of transactions in Xero or QuickBooks without an item image, so you can send that report directly to your clients. And the outstanding paperwork report is a number of transactions in a bank feed without a match. Now, we're going to quickly take a look at outstanding paperwork to start with. And for this one, I want to jump into Huxley's grooming. So if we click onto the number there, that will take us through into what we call the outstanding paperwork report. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to actually start to select some of these that I want to send through to the client. And in here, I can type in some information that will go through to the client themselves. And if we click share, we get the option to send directly to the phone. So what that means is if the client has got the mobile app downloaded and they've been set up, we can actually send this report through to the mobile app, and it will give the client a notification and they can view this all on their mobile. However, if they're not on the mobile app, we can send it as a G sheet, a CSV, or a PDF. But with this, we would just click send. And what that will do is it will send it directly through to the client for us. And they'll get a notification. Now, if we go back onto our dashboard where we were before, and we scroll over to the right hand side again, and we look for somebody with some missing paperwork reporting this time around. So we've got a couple here to choose from. So we'll click onto this one. And again, what you can do is highlight the transactions that are relevant, and then you can format in terms of exporting into CSV, PDF, or a Google Sheet. Click export, and you can send that to the client via email to get that sent over to them. So hopefully you can see that within Prepare itself, there's a couple of different ways for you to be able to interact with the client in terms of getting that outstanding paperwork or missing paperwork into Prepare and keeping the workflow moving in the right direction.
Awesome. Thanks, Christian. It's great to have those insights available on the dashboard. Now, the last manual process we're going to look at also brings us to our next risk area, which is overdue invoices. Annual compliance-only clients can be really tricky to chase for money, especially when putting them on stop wouldn't actually affect them for almost a year. Now, setting up automated reminders is a proven way to get paid quicker, and when 4 times the amounts of invoices are going to be sent, that's a process that could really benefit from some increased efficiency. Most accounting platforms have inbuilt reminders, but specialized apps will give you greater control over the sending schedule and over the message. For example, one great tip is to set an early reminder to go out before the invoice is even due. You can use this to check that payment is on track, thank them for their business, and maybe even ask for a review. Satago goes even further though, allowing you to group your customers and set specific templates and sending schedules for those groups. Perfect for separating your direct debit customers or customizing your tone for your best or even your worst clients. It's a good idea to make a concerted effort right now to get some of those outstanding accounts settled before you have to start invoicing more regularly. Adding more invoices to an already messy debtor ledger is a recipe for disaster. And Satago can help there too by giving you a detailed overview of where your greatest risks lie within your debtors. We can show you not only the 30, 60 and 90-day view, but also compare that to the credit scores of the companies involved, giving you a great way to prioritize your chasing efforts. Now, this should all mean getting paid, and that's our next risk area, the cost of receiving payments. You'll probably know that traditional methods like card payments and DD payments attract a transaction fee for each and every payment. So as invoicing increases, you're looking at a bigger and bigger bill for processing charges. There are some new kids on the block that want to do something about that, but I just can't remember their names.
With making tax digital approaching, more and more of the world is moving towards online invoicing. Direct debits and card payments are no longer the cutting-edge technology that they were in 1964. So many businesses are looking towards innovation to help make their lives easier and avoid paying unnecessary fees on collecting their payments. So maybe a company that utilizes open banking comes to mind. Perhaps a company that doesn't charge you anything to collect your invoices comes to mind. Maybe it's a company that integrates seamlessly with the likes of Xero and QuickBooks. Perhaps a company that, whoa, don't throw that at me. Perhaps it's a company that you don't even need to learn any new software to use, and it doesn't interrupt your existing workflow. Wouldn't that be nice?
Thanks so much to Rob and the slightly aggressive Crezco team. The last area for us to look at is spotting missed opportunities. Accountants and bookkeepers never seem to have time to spare, so more deadlines and more work might make it harder to spot opportunities to help clients. So tools that analyze data for you and provide insights are going to become even more valuable. For example, Satago's handy portfolio overview dashboard will show you the state of your client's debtors so you can easily see who's struggling to get paid. It'll keep an eye out for changes to credit scores for your clients and for their customers and keep you informed of those too. Hindsight is another great practice analytics tool which looks at the data inside Xero to give loads of actionable insights. Here's Jon Jenkins to share a little more.
Accountants and bookkeepers can use Hindsight in a number of ways to get a great understanding of their client base in just a few seconds. Using Hindsight's client portfolio, you can look at the whole range of clients and data points within the system. Using the built-in filters, you can decide how you want to see the data and download it as a CSV file should you wish to do further analysis in Excel. You can also use Hindsight's built-in charts so you can visually represent the data as well. The Insights page within Hindsight is a fantastic way to see if there are trends and problems across your clients. If there are lots of red crosses along a row, this would highlight an issue with a client. If you've got a column such as bills due, where there are lots of red crosses, that would probably flag up a process, procedure or system problem. You could look at this list as a list of opportunities. Every red cross in here has the potential for you to be helping clients with something within their business.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Jon. So there you have it. The AppVendors have assembled to share some great tips and tools with you to help you keep going as your workloads start to ramp up. You've already done so much for small businesses over the last few years and by extension the economy. So we really want to make sure that you continue to thrive. To get in touch with any of the people or companies from the video, or if you want to find out more about Satago, email accountants@satago.com and we'd love to help.